Did you know that St. Luke's University Health Network, based in the Lehigh Valley, Pennsylvania, has been recognized by the U.S. government as the highest performing health system in the United States for quality? You heard right. St. Luke's #1 recognition affirms our status as the top leader among the most respected healthcare providers in the nation, including Houston Methodist and the Mayo Clinic. To state it simply, if you want to receive the best care when you go to a hospital, come to St. Luke's.
The Rush Hour with James Golden on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
I would have come out sooner, but I had to call my opponent and concede, and it took a while to find Ed Galrein in Tel Aviv. I did get the call through, though. I have called and conceded the race. We've been honorable the whole time, and we're going to stay that way.
Yes, my friends, welcome to the Wednesday edition of Buzz Snerdley's Rush Hour, the fastest hour in American media. That was Thomas Massey with a very snide and some are saying anti-Semitic remark after conceding, or as he conceded his loss in the primary elections, which occurred in Kentucky, one of 6 states that held primaries last night. Ladies and gentlemen, special treat for all of us today, me included. She is in the house. All the goodness that one might or hope for is here today. The wonderfulness of our princess-ness during the weakness. Well, the week, which rarely occurs-ness. Princess Diana, welcome. How are you this afternoon?
Oh, so happy to speak to you. Sir James, the Duke of Democracy, and we have had some democracy, have we not?
We have had some big democracy this week. We are going to talk about China. That's one of the things we talked about over the weekend, and I do want to talk about that, but we have to start with the primaries last night. After the primaries last night, the probably most recognized political pundit of her ilk and generation, a woman who has expertise in everything from space lasers to, Marjorie Taylor Greene says the GOP's future has been destroyed after her friend and colleague, Thomas Massey, was defeated. Is that the way that you see things? The future of the GOP is now destroyed because Thomas Massey lost in Kentucky's 4th Congressional District to Donald Trump-backed challenger Ed Galrein.
Well, you know, that quotient needs to make up its mind because on the one hand, they have all been saying, you know, if Massey loses, MAGA is dead. They've been saying MAGA is dead for a while. These are the most pessimistic people ever, and she quit. She couldn't handle it. And then on the other hand, yesterday, once it was known that Massey lost by 10 points, the incumbent losing by 10 points, all of a sudden now the Massey fans are basically saying, well, this is just the beginning of a new movement. Now he's going to run for president. So I don't know. They need to make up their minds. Either this is a tragedy and it's horrible, or if it's the beginning of a great new Massey for president run.
Well, okay, now let's talk about what has happened in the Senate, Princess. We got a lot of ground to cover, so I'm not going to stay on one thing too long. Here's a headline from The Hill. Senate GOP expresses frustration, anger, sadness as Trump snubs Cornyn in Texas. Republican Senators Princess Diana exuded pain for Cornyn, who served as Senate Republican whip during Trump's first term and is deeply respected by his Senate GOP colleagues. I'm really sad. I'm sad personally for John Cornyn, and I hope he's successful in his election regardless. And I'm sad for the institution, said one GOP senator who requested anonymity to talk about the internal conference feelings. There's no senator that works harder to make things happen around here, works harder to take care of his colleagues. The senator noted that the tradition in the past has been for the president and the National Republican Senatorial Committee to work together. I think it's sad for the institution, something that's really troubling, the lawmaker added. Are you troubled that Trump has refused to endorse John Cornyn and instead went after Paxton, the Texas AG?
They are so mad. It is just the most delightful thing. They can't believe it. You know, this is another time where the institutional memory of these people is that basically they are the ones running the country, and Trump needs to just listen to them. And so the fact that he endorsed, although he gave them how much more warning as far as what he needed to have done is he wanted the SAVE Act passed, and he basically set up a deal that they could keep Cornyn, who is a rhino of rhinos, and that Paxton would withdraw from the race if they would pass the SAVE Act. And they knew this was the deal, and Trump waited until the last possible moment when it became obvious, you know, the day before yesterday, they weren't going to do the deal. And he basically said, fine, I'm endorsing Paxton, which means that Paxton will win. He will win the Senate seat. He is not institutional. He is MAGA. And this is what they have in the Senate. The Republicans in the Senate have been trying to prevent from happening for generations now. Under Mitch McConnell, this has been the most establishment rhino group in elective politics, and that has stopped all of Trump's agenda, almost all of Trump's agenda. It just stopped what they could of it, and that has been their mission. And the fact now that it is breaking free thanks to MAGA and the pressure of MAGA and the strength of MAGA and the strength of Trump, this now is a new day in the Senate. And what we have is we have a rhino replacement theory. We've got John Cornyn, who is going to be gone. We have Bill Cassidy from Louisiana, who lost his primary to the Trump-endorsed Julia Letlow. We have Tom Tillis, who retired, Mitch McConnell, who retired. We have all of these people who have institutionally been praising themselves and stopping any kind of reform, any kind of what the actual Republican voters want from happening. And finally, those days are over, and they are furious. And it's the most delightful thing because there's not a thing they can do about it.
I happen to agree 100% with this. I want to play for you something different. Oh, by the way, in Georgia, before we leave the elections, in Georgia, this guy Raffensperger came in at the bottom of the heap. He's another anti-Trumper. Yep. He's another never-Trumper. He is at the bottom of the heap. He's not going to advance. It looks like in Georgia, we're going to have an interesting race there for the governorship. You're going to have Bottoms. She's in a runoff, I believe. So you're going to have Bottoms running off, and it's not decided yet which of the GOP candidates is going to be running on the Republican ticket. It looks like it's going to be two runoffs, I believe, to decide what's going to happen in Georgia. But Georgia is said to still be a state that we can't predict and just say what will happen in Georgia. I very much doubt whether the next governor of Georgia will be a Democrat. What is your feeling about that?
I think you're right. And I also think it's very interesting that in a Georgia Supreme Court, Obama and Harris stumped hard for the Supreme Court candidates, and they both lost, two of them. The Republicans stayed in power in the Georgia Supreme Court. So you had basically an Obama versus the Republicans race. And, of course, there's no coverage of that. There's no coverage that Obama put his reputation on the line and failed. And basically Trump has been touting 37 wins, 0 losses as of May 19th, the primaries in 6 states: Pennsylvania, Georgia, Alabama, Kentucky, Idaho, and Oregon. He made his endorsements, and they all advanced. And that is a record that the narrative has been trying to reset. Oh, Trump is unpopular. He's losing power. You can't, well, he's got a lot of flex, and he proved it.
And the Georgia Senate, Ossoff is going to win. He won his primary last night. So it looks like either Mike Collins or Derek Dooley, they're going to have to either one of those candidates is going to face Ossoff. On the other hand, let's see. You've got for governor Burt Jones down there and Rick Jackson. Both are still, Jones is high 30s, 38.4%, Jackson 32. They're going to have to duke it out to see who is going to run up against Keisha Lance Bottoms. Who is going to go bottoms up? Miss Bottoms. And, of course, Keisha Lance Bottoms was the mayor of Atlanta. And if people like the way that Atlanta has gone, with all the murders, the crime, the crazed, out-of-control leftism that took over Atlanta, they should be happy if she gets a chance to make Georgia Atlanta. So I'm looking forward to seeing what happens in the election there.
Yeah, there's often a lot of funny business in Georgia. So, I'm not going to make any predictions on that, but I think the actual voting strength of Republicans in Georgia is very good if they can overcome the funny business.
Well, Fulton County still being investigated, so that ought to help. Because a lot of that, which you, in quotes, air quotes, funny business took place in Fulton County, and the microscope is on Fulton County right now, so they may be rendered unable to perform the electoral miracles they have in the past down there in Fulton County. We shall see. Let us take a quick break, ladies and gentlemen. Princess Diana's here. We've got more to discuss. We are going to get to China, but when we get back, Princess Di, I want to talk to you for a brief moment about Katie Tur. James Golden, Snerdley, fastest hour in American media, continues. Don't go away.
The Rush Hour with James Golden on the Red Apple Podcast Network. The Rush Hour with James Golden on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
And Katie Tur.
What about this passage from Mike Johnson declaring that our rights do not derive from government, they come from you, our Creator, and Heavenly Father? Is this him putting God over the Declaration of Independence? Okay.
Well, I actually think that idea is not wholly uncommon. I mean, the idea that we have certain inalienable rights that come from God can be read in a fairly benign way, which is basically that we have innate human rights.
Stop it there. Princess Diana. Princess Diana. Princess Diana. Princess Diana, what about this very strange idea that we've heard from the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, that somehow or another our rights don't come from government, that they're endowed to us by God, by some sort of creator? Princess Diana, I mean, can you believe that the Speaker of the House would actually suggest that our rights don't come from government, they come from God? How dare he?
She was so shocked, and yet the person who corrected her didn't correct her accurately, which is from the preamble of the Declaration of Independence itself. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among those are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. She is so unfamiliar with our founding documents that she was just appalled that basically Mike Johnson, the Speaker Speaker of the House in his prayer would refer to something that we all understand. That is not what our rights do not come from government. They come from God. And if you remember, Joe Biden himself in 2020 got himself all tangled up where he said, we hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women are created by the, the thing.
The thing.
So the left really has no grasp on our founding documents or what it means and how important that is for us to understand for our own freedom. But it's laughable.
How can a network, any network, of course I don't think they belong to, I think NBC tried to kick them out wholly so they can stop embarrassing what's left of NBC News. But how do you work for a major network and not understand the basic founding documents of your country? And nobody seems to be embarrassed over there about it.
Yeah, and no one quoted the founding document, which would be, of course, all of our first reaction is quoting from the founding document in response to her, uninformed question. But I saw the video of her actually asking that question. She was reading it. I think some intern handed it to her, and she wasn't knowledgeable enough to know what she was reading as a question. But, if you have a leftist audience, you aren't required to know much. So that's even worse. Course, yeah.
That's even worse. If she was just being as they say over in the UK, a presenter. If
right.
She's just being a reader, presenter. All right, we're going to talk about China when we get back. I hate to keep teasing, but we are. But I also have to talk to you about the latest effort to enslave black people by the Democrats. Which seriously, Hakeem said they're going all out. And we'll talk about that. Black athletes have too much freedom, and we need to rein it in. That black athletes don't understand who their masters are supposed to be. So that's coming up with Princess Di. Don't go away, folks.
The Rush Hour with James Golden on the Red Apple Podcast Network. The Rush Hour with James Golden on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
And it's an honor to stand with members of the Congressional Black Caucus, as well as former athletes committed to this cause in getting this egregious situation turned around. This is an unprecedented moment featuring an unprecedented attack on black political representation, and therefore it requires an unprecedented response.
That's right.
We are here standing in solidarity with the NAACP.
That's right.
And its call for athletes to boycott institutions within the SEC that belong to states that have unleashed these Jim Crow-like racially oppressive tactics, which is unacceptable, unconscionable, and un-American. And we believe that the silence of these institutions is complicity.
That's right.
And we will not stand for it.
That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. Princess Diana, that's right. That's right. That's right. This is an unprecedented moment. This is an unprecedented moment. It calls for unprecedented action. So we are demanding, ladies and gentlemen, and you, Princess Diana, to stop the racist Republican Jim Crow 2 who trying to interrupt segregation in America, just having segregated black districts instead of integration because we support segregation. We're demanding, ladies and gentlemen, that black athletes respond to this by boycotting SEC schools in these southern states. So you black athletes, do not go to Texas A&M. Do not go to LSU. Boycott the Gators. Boycott all these colleges that are the pathway to you getting to the NFL and maybe even earning some money in college. Just boycott them so that you can show your support. That's right. That's right. For the Democrats. Because we own you black athletes, and we're demanding that you help us Democrats stay in power. That's right. And what's left of the NAACP, we up here too, trying to go back to the 60s and have a boycott. That's right. And if we want to put together a march in Washington once Donald Trump finished that reflecting pool so we can look at ourselves and protest, how dare they? That's right. That's right.
You're on a roll there. Don't stop.
Do you think the black... Have you ever heard such ridiculousness in your life?
Well, they have tried this in the past, with sports, trying to get sports, various baseball, and I believe a few years ago not to participate in games in certain states that were, I believe that was having to do with abortion rulings. However...
Yeah, that was the All-Star game that they boycotted.
Right.
And took it out of Atlanta, which probably saved lives, because then they didn't have to run into the criminal element down there in Atlanta that year. But anyway, that's a brief aside.
Do you think this is going to have any impact whatsoever?
I'm asking you. I don't think the black athlete, number one. Oh, why did you ask me that question? Because now I have to answer honestly.
Be honest.
Okay, number one, some of these athletes can't put together 7 words to make a paragraph. So trying to convince them of an argument that has anything other to do with their pathway to make millions in the NFL is not going to be easy. For those that do actually know something about the academic world at these colleges, there's still going to be an issue. If they're not going to the schools that have a great football team, then they got to go to where they're going to play, for Harvard? The Yale football team, yeah. Cornell. UCLA's Sterling football program.
So you're saying this is not going to have much of an impact?
I think most of these athletes are looking at NFL dollars. They don't care about Hakeem Jeffrey dollars. And what's left of the NAACP is not important anymore. Oh, yeah, come out and support the Colored People organization. And they're standing in front of, so it was almost the entire, well, it was a large segment of the congressional black Caucasians that were out there with the NAACP and Hakeem Jeffries. So I don't know how much impact these people are going to have. First of all, some of these players are going to be like, Hakeem who? Who is he and what does he do?
And where did he play?
Right. Where did he play?
Well, Hakeem was on a roll of his own because he said, this was at a different meeting, but he basically said that he is going to break our spirits. Did you see that?
Yeah, he's going to crush us.
He said, we will defeat them. He's talking about MAGA. We have to beat them electorally. We have to break their spirit because of the extremism that's being unleashed on the American people. So he's going after MAGA. He's going after people who are excellent in sports. And I don't think that this is going to have much of a ripple, actually. I don't think he's going to crush us, and I don't think he's going to get a lot of boycotts going on either.
You know what they're calling him on? You know what they're calling him on the internet now?
I've heard Timu Obama.
Timu Obama. That's what they're calling him. Timu Obama. Oh, boy.
Well, I think you've done the best imitation of him because he speaks rather slowly, and it is really frustrating.
That's right.
Until he gets his sentence out, it's just, oh, my goodness. So I think people will fall asleep before he finishes his call to boycott.
This is an unprecedented moment. That's right. That's right.
Oh, my goodness.
I mean, damn. Would somebody send a memo to these people and tell them the 60s are over? Please, just the 60s are over. Please, stop. Stop this now. Okay? And then I heard that they're back to we are overcoming again. How many times do you have to come before you overcome? That's what I want to know. Because they came already, and they overcame, and now they're saying again, we have to overcome, but you already came. So how many times do you have to overcome and stop coming? How long?
Are you saying they're singing again? You've got all
Yes, and they had the signs again. They had another march in Selma. They had another march, and even Slotkin went down there for it and tried to pretend she liked black people. It was just amazing. It was like, what is this? The 60s are over.
Okay,
China.
They have no other playbook. They keep rerunning the same, Democrat playbook because it worked in the past. But you're right, it is over.
China, we have about 5-6 minutes, and we have 2 sound bites that you provided for us. So the floor is yours, Princess Diana, on China.
Well, I had mentioned it on Saturday, and I had said that there was a lot of discussion after what Xi Jinping mentioned about the Thucydides trap, and I wanted to explain that further if you want me to go into it a little bit.
Yes, I do. Please.
Okay. Well, Thucydides was a Greek historian from the 5th century BC who wrote the history of the Peloponnesian War. Athens and Sparta were fighting, and the theme is that there was war was inevitable because Sparta was afraid of Athens' rise. Now, bringing that into today, there is a Henry Kissinger link to this. His student, Graham Allison, from Harvard, who teaches at the Kennedy School, whose mentor is Henry Kissinger, wrote a book basically called Destined for War, Can America and China Escape the Thucydides Trap? And this guy, Graham Allison, has been back and forth visiting Xi Jinping multiple times, and he is a favorite in the elite world. And the thesis, according to Graham Allison, is that this parallel of America and China, we are the declining power, according to Graham Allison, and China is the rising power. And so the thesis is that the declining power has to give way, has to accommodate the rising power. So this is why Xi Jinping loves this thesis, and it's called the Thucydides trap, because he has been told by Graham Allison, the Harvard guy, that Trump is going to basically surrender Taiwan. He went there recently, right before Trump arrived for this latest trip, and basically floated the possibility that Trump would make concessions on Taiwan. And so Xi Jinping appears to have believed it, because when Trump got there, Xi started talking about the Thucydides trap. So I think it is a very interesting, unfortunately, the elites in America have gotten their hooks in Xi Jinping, who seems to believe that Trump is about to basically allow him to take over Taiwan. And
boy.
This to me was very interesting, because on Air Force One, Trump talked about that. He was still in China airspace coming back. Do you have that clip on Air Force One? It's very quick.
We do, and here it is.
Would the U.S. defend Taiwan if it came to it?
I don't want to say. I'm not going to say that. There's only one person that knows that. You know who it is? Me. I'm the only person. That question was asked to me today by President Xi. I said, I don't talk about those.
He asked you today. He asked you if you would send troops, if you would defend.
He asked me if I defend them. I said, I don't talk about that.
She told him that.
I don't talk about that.
Now, that may have been hard to hear, so I will just summarize it basically. The reporter asked, would the U.S. defend Taiwan if it came to it? Trump said, I don't want to say. I'm not going to say that. There's only one person that knows that. You know who it is? Me. I'm the only person. That question was asked to me today by President Xi, and I said, I don't talk about that. The reporter said, he asked you today, he asked you if you would send troops, Trump. He asked me if I'd defend them. I said, I don't talk about that. Now, this to me is fascinating because it reveals so much that Xi Jinping believes that he has the ability to get Trump to concede this. Trump did not concede it. He didn't even answer him. He basically was given the opportunity to say yes or no. He said to Xi, I'm not talking about that. So, interestingly enough, today, Trump himself has announced he is going to talk, he's going to speak to the president of Taiwan. He announced this just a few hours ago. And that has not happened since 1979. So Trump is not revealing anything to Xi. He did not go along with the Thucydides trap in which, he's supposed to agree that the United States is a declining power and he needs to just surrender to China. In fact, he talked about it on True Social. And he said, well, it might have been a declining power under Biden, but it certainly isn't now. So we are in good hands. Trump is handling it. He is doing things that are shocking the elites, that are surprising the elites. He is keeping China at bay, and it is fascinating because everyone's saying, well, we can't talk to Taiwan. This goes against everything since 1979, and Trump announced today he's going to talk to the president of Taiwan. So this all is going to be handled in a very sophisticated way and a very strong way.
That is astounding. Folks, this is analysis you will get absolutely nowhere else but Princess Diana. It is astounding. Thank you, Princess. I need you to hold on. We have to go to the clip of the day when we get back, and perhaps I'll have your reaction to the clip of the day, too. Will you hold on for us, please, Your Highness?
Absolutely.
Okay, so here we go, ladies and gentlemen. When we get back, clip of the day. James Golden, Princess Diana's here. When we get back, clip of the day.
The Rush Hour with James Golden on the Red Apple Podcast Network. The Rush Hour with James Golden on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
It is time for the clip of the day. If we have time, we have two of them, actually. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy testifying. Here he is being questioned by New York Senator Kirsten Gillibrand.
It is a wonderful thing, but your vacation was paid for by Boeing, Toyota, United Airlines, Enterprise, Shell, Royal Caribbean Group, all Senator, organizations and companies.
Do you want me to respond to you? Can I respond? Do you have jurisdiction over law firms? So you received $7 million in political contributions from the trial bar.
Honestly, this has nothing to do with members of Congress. This has to do with the fact that you went on a paid vacation that was paid by companies that you oversee.
You received $7 million from the trial bar. You have jurisdiction. You have jurisdiction on the trial bar. $7 million. Want me to go down the list of what else you received? You have jurisdiction.
Listen,
you actually passed
Secretary
legislation for the
Duffy.
trial bar.
This hearing is about you
I didn't make any
and
money.
this administration.
No, it's about you. I didn't make any money.
This hearing, you are the witness. I am not the witness.
I don't have any. Well, maybe you should be.
Well, you know what?
Secretary Duffy. $7 million
Secretary
from the
Duffy.
trial bar.
Secretary Duffy.
$7 million.
I think you should be telling this committee
that goes to put your ad on television. That's all to you. You spend that money.
This is what I'm concerned about. You are political, and you are using your position in political ways.
$500,000 paid by the trial bar to fly you on a private jet.
I've never been on a private jet.
Zen Air.
I don't. Never been on a private jet.
$462,000.
We don't. Members of Congress aren't.
Well, that's just one.
Yes,
Let's get to the other real quick. Sean Duffy with Patty Murray, Senator the mom in Tennessee.
You asked about gas prices. You have done everything you can to increase gas prices for Americans and make us buy EVs.
Mr. Secretary, this is my time.
Donald Trump is lowering the cost of energy.
You are wasting my time.
You're wasting my time.
Responding with a book of claims that you have come at us.
Do you deny that you got $2 million from health care? I can go down the list here.
Mr. Secretary, that
Amgen
is
gave
not...
you $140,000.
Mr. Secretary, it is my time.
Pfizer gave you $102,000.
I am asking to be able to ask a question here. I do
I'm
not
just pointing
need
out your
an attack
record.
by a secretary who is the witness at this table that is out of order.
What did Big Pharma get for the 1.1 million that Big Pharma gave you?
Princess Diana, what do you think is going on here?
What did they get?
Oh, I love it so much that these Trump people come armed with the facts, and they keep saying, well, it's not about me. It's not about what I've spent and my corruption. I'm here to ask the questions. You can't ask me anything. And they just hammer them, and I love it. I think it is such a great turning of the tables.
Me too. Princess Diana, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you, Sir James.
Thank you. We leave with the Bee Gees today. Robin Gibb passed away on this day in 2012, 1/3 of the Bee Gees. Look, folks, I don't have to go on about the Bee Gees. You know who they are. I love the Bee Gees. You love the Bee Gees. And we remember Robin Gibb. May God bless and protect each and every single one of you, your families, and your loved ones. Love and gratitude for your being here with me, allowing me to be with you. God willing, back tomorrow for the Thursday edition of Bo Snerdley's Rush Hour. Until then, I bid you adieu. Bye.
Thanks for listening to Bo Snerdley's Rush Hour. You can hear Bo Snerdley's Rush Hour weekdays at 4 on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?
Get ready, Staten Island. It's time to celebrate 5 years of Ferry Hawks baseball.
Friday, May 22nd at 7 p.m. it's Scout Night. This $16 ticket includes Ferry Hawks Special Edition 2026 Scout Patch. And for just $25 more, it's a Scout sleepover and breakfast the next morning. And post-game, all kids glow around the bases. Saturday, May 23rd at 1 p.m., it's Matinee Baseball. And Sunday, May 24th at 1:30 p.m., Matinee Baseball.
Visit ferryhawks.com now to lock in your seats.